Okay, so let's continue our discussion in pavement design. So, yung first part natin is more on the principles and the theories behind a pavement design. And also, we have discussed one method in flexible pavement design. That is the AASHTO design method. So now, we're going to proceed sa new topic natin, which is another part or another method in designing a flexible pavement. So this is what we call the California design method or the VIM design method or the CDM. Okay. So what is the California design method? So this method was originally developed in the 1940s based on a combination of information from some tests, theories, and experience. So this is more on, kung ang ASHTO is more on the theories and testing, laboratory testing. So this California design method is we have also theories, road tests, and also based on the experience. So, um, nagdevelop ang California design method based on the AASHTO design method. So it is used widely in the western states and has been modified several times to take into consideration changes in traffic characteristics. While yung AASHTO design method, uh, they are also modifying it, they are also upgrading it, but it is all based in the laboratory testing. Okay, so it is not widely considering some changes from the current traffic conditions ng mismong lugar. So while here in the California design method, kino-consider natin dito yung mga current and the consideration changes in the traffic conditions. Okay, so now the objective of the original design method was to avoid plastic deformation and the distortion of the pavement surface. But a later modification includes the reduction to a minimum of early fatigue cracking due to traffic load. Okay? Plastic deformation ang pinaka inaayawan natin when it comes to pavement design. Okay? But scientists, engineers who are developing the California design method saw that plastic deformations are inevitable. Okay, that's why ang nag-focus na lang sila is more on the fatigue, it's more on the cracking, it's more on the failure of the road itself or the pavement itself because they cannot avoid the plastic deformation. So now they have considered na why not ang focus ng California design method is yung hindi agad-agaran na magkaroon ng cracking sa mismong pavement sa mismong pavement natin. So that's why VIM design method or the California design method was introduced. Okay? Again, in pavement design, in the current condition of the traffic, we cannot avoid plastic deformation. Okay, now what are the factors they have considered in the CDM? So first and foremost is the traffic load. Next is the strength of subgrade material and the strength of the construction materials. Okay, to begin with, we have here our traffic load. Okay, sa traffic load natin, we are still considering here sa CDM or sa California Design Method yung ating ESAL. Okay? So, what is the formula for ESAL? Having a review. ESAL is equal to the design lane factor multiplied by the growth factor times the annual average daily traffic times 365 to convert it into years, okay, times the number of axles times the load equivalency factor. So, eto mga to, okay, uh, balikan na lang natin yung sa AASHTO design method. Again, sabi ko nga, ang CDM is just one of the variation of the AASHTO design method. So that's why we are still using the SI. Okay? Ito yung nadagdag ngayon when it comes to traffic loading, when it comes to CDM. So we have here the traffic index or the TI. Okay? The formula for TI is equal to 9 times the SL all over 10 raised to 6 raised to 0.119. Okay, that will be our traffic index. And that traffic index, kakailanganin natin siya in computing our design factor, the design factor for our lanes. Okay? Next, we have the strength of subgrade material. So, kailangan din natin makuha yung yung strength ng subgrade material kasi this is also one of the most used, okay? Ating gamitin siya sa ating pavement, no? Ito rin yung sasapo ng ating plastic deformation. So that's why again, hindi nga natin ma-avoid ang plastic deformation. That's why strengthen na lang natin yung subgrade material. And to strengthen our subgrade material, we can have this formula. The resistance value denoted as R. Okay? R is equal to 100 minus 100 all over 2.5 over D multiplied by PV over PH minus 1 all plus 1. Okay? So, ano yung R natin dito? That will be our resistance value. O, later on, gagamitin natin yung R na yan. Our PV is our vertical pressure at 1,100 kilopascal. Ito yung pressure natin in our subgrade material. Take note, vertical pressure on our subgrade material. And we have also our pH, P sub H, which is our horizontal pressure at the vertical pressure at 1,100 kilopascal. And itong D natin is the number of turns of displacement pump. Okay? That is our resistance value. Now, let's proceed with the strength of construction materials. Okay? The strength characteristics of each construction materials like asphalt, concrete, base, and sub-base materials are given in terms of the gravel equivalent factor, in which ang formula natin for the gravel equivalent factor are as follows. If our thickness of the hot mix asphalt layer is less than 0.5 feet or 150 mm, or less than 150 mm, our formula for the gravel equivalent factor is 5.67 all over the square root of the traffic index. Okay? Whereas, kapag ang thickness ng ating asphalt layer is greater than 0.5 feet or greater than 150 mm, our gravel equivalent factor is equal to 7 times the cube root of the thickness of our hot mix asphalt layer all over the square root of the traffic index. Okay? So this will be our formula for the gravel equivalent factor or G sub F. Okay? But the CDM or the California Department of Transportation Design Manual has already provided the gravel equivalent factors for different types of materials. So therefore, it is possible na hindi na natin i-compute further yung ating G sub F or the gravel equivalent factor since given naman as per the material. Okay? We can only use or we will be using these formulas and these conditions kapag hindi available sa table na given na CDT yung ating gravel equivalent factors. Okay? So for our class A cement treated base, 1.7, class B is 1.2. For the line treated base, we have 1.2. Untreated aggregate base is 1.1, aggregate base is 1.0, and so on. Okay? So ito yung mga ranges when the TI or the traffic index of the when the TI or the traffic index is given as per the asphalt concrete. Okay? Ito yung ranges niya. Okay? So that's why we need first to calculate or to compute the traffic index. Okay? Now, for the structural design of our flexible pavement using the California design method. The objective of the design is to determine the total thickness of material required above the subgrade to carry the projected traffic load. Again, bakit nga ba tayo nagpa-pavement design? Gusto natin na i-carry, ma-project natin yung load conditions or the loadings natin from our asphalt papunta sa ating soil or the subgrade. Okay? Yun yung purpose natin eh. Ito yung load natin, ito yung asphalt natin, yung surfacing natin, ito yung base layer, base course natin, okay? Ito yung base natin, ito yung sub-base natin, at ito naman yung subgrade. Okay? Again, objective natin is to dissipate, project the load from the asphalt layer papunta sa subgrade. Kailangan safely makikerry ng subgrade material yung load na ibabato natin sa kanya. Yan yung purpose natin. Yan yung objective natin kung bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng pavement design. Okay? So now, this thickness is determined in terms of gravel equivalent in feet. Again, gravel equivalent in feet. Okay? Take note in feet po yung mako-compute natin when we use this formula. Okay? Which is given as GE is equal to 0.00096 multiplied by the traffic index multiplied by 100 minus the resistance value. Okay? Wherein GE natin is the thickness of material required above a given layer in terms of gravel equivalent in meters. Okay? Okay? Ayan pala to, no? It's not just in feet, no? In meters din pwede natin magamit pala ito. I stand corrected. So, yung TI natin, makakompute natin yan. Unitless naman ng TI. So, that will be in traffic index. Yung R natin is the resistance value of the supporting layer material. So, normally, it is determined at an exudation pressure of 2.07 megapascal. This is just megapascal. Alisin na yung square. Okay? The actual depth of each layer can then be determined by dividing GE or the gravel equivalent for that layer by the GF. What is GF? Ano yung GF natin? Di ba ang GF natin ay ito, the gravel equivalent factor. Okay? Pag daw dinivide natin, okay? Pag daw dinivide natin yung GE sa GF, makakakuha daw tayo dito ng actual depth. Okay? So later on, may ano tayo dyan, may problem tayo na we did divide gravel equivalent by the gravel equivalent factor. So that's all for the California design method. So let's now proceed to our example number 2. Example number 2 is an example wherein we are going to design a flexible pavement using the VIM method or the CDM or the California design method. So a flexible pavement is to be designed to carry a 1.5 times 10 raised to 6 SL, okay, given ng SL natin, during its design period. Using the California method, determine the appropriate thicknesses for an asphalt concrete surface and a granular base course over a subgrade soil for which stabilometer test data are shown in the table. So ito yung stabilometer test data natin. Binigay na sa ating stabilometer test data. So the resistance value or the R value for the untreated, given yung untreated natin ha, untreated granular base material is 70. Okay? So, let's compute for this one. So, first step natin, sabi nga 'di ba, we need first to calculate or to determine the traffic index. Okay, what is the formula for traffic index? That is TI is equal to 9 times SL all over 10 raised to 6 raised to 0.119. Eh, given naman yung SL natin, so we can now plug in yung SL natin, which is yung 1.5 times 10 raised to 6. Ito yun. Plug in natin. We can have now the value for our traffic index as 9.44, or we can say that it is approximately 9.5. Okay, I suggest i-round up nyo na. Okay? Gawin nyo na siya 9.5. Okay? Next step is to determine the asphalt concrete surface thickness over the granular base. Okay? Ito yung sabi natin na GE over GF. Okay? So first, let's compute the GE. Okay? Again, what is GE? The gravel equivalent. Okay? So we have now the formula for our GE, which is 0.00096 times the traffic index times 100 minus R. Binigay sa atin yung R value. Okay? Binigay sa atin yung R value na 70. So we can just plug yung 70 sa ating resistance value ng R. Okay? And then, na-compute na natin yung ating traffic index. So plugging in, we have 0.0096 times 9.5 times 100 minus 70. We can now have our gravel equivalent as 0.27 meters. Okay? And then, based dito sa ating table given by the California Department of Transportation, we can now determine yung ating G sub F or yung gravel equivalent factors. Since asphalt concrete, okay? Asphalt concrete ang kino-consider natin na material na gagamitin for our surfacing. Therefore, dito tayo titingin sa asphalt concrete for TI off. Okay? Since na-compute natin yung TI or the traffic index which is 9.5, ipa-plot na lang natin siya dito sa ating table. At yung 9.5 plot natin. Therefore, our G sub F is 1.79. Okay? Again, kapag available ang material sa table na given ng California Department of Transportation, we can now use this table para sa ating G sub F. If not, ang gagamitin natin na formula ay itong mga ito. Okay? Okay, next. Sabi sa atin kanina, we can divide the gravel equivalent by the gravel equivalent factor or GE all over GF to get the actual depth of our pavement. Okay? So that's why we can now compute for the actual depth required, which is GE all over GF. Given, na-compute na natin si GE, na-compute na natin si GF, or sorry, na-compute si GE, na-identify na natin si GF based on the table. We can have 0.27 all over 1.79. We can have now the actual depth required as 0.151 meters or 150 mm. Okay? Intindihan yan? Okay. But by this time, okay, tandaan nyo to, no? In all principle, in all concepts ng design, when we are designing, pag binigyan ka ng sizes, it is best na ibaba mo or kunin mo yung nearest tens, okay? Say for example, ito 151 mm. Huwag mo nang gawin na 155 mm. Gawin mo na siya 150 mm. Okay? Now, for our step 3, let's now determine the base thickness. Okay? Na-determine na natin yung asphalt concrete surface thickness. We can now determine the base thickness. Now, the total thickness required above the subgrade should be determined for an exudation pressure of 2.07 megapascal. At ito po yung table niya. Graph. So we have here the exudation pressure in terms of PSI. Sa y-axis natin is our GE or the gravel equivalent in terms of foot, no? In terms of feet. So we just need to plot yung exudation pressure. Ang exudation pressure natin is 2.07 megapascal. Paki-convert na lang yung 2.07 megapascal. So you can have approximately nasa 300 PSI. Plot natin. Yung curve A na to is given. Plot lang natin dito. Then, yung 0.27, the 0.27 meters is approximately 2 point something, basta 2 point something na feet, no? So, plot lang natin horizontally yung GE, then yung exudation pressure vertically. Then we can now have the point wherein doon mag-meet yung GE and exudation pressure. Wherein, ang GE natin is 2.03 feet or 0.62. I stand corrected, no? yung PSI natin, excitation pressure na 2.07, i-plot natin papunta sa curve A. Then from the curve A, gawa tayo ng horizontal. Then kunin natin yung GE. Ito yung kukunin kasi natin yung GE, yung gravel equivalent. Ang gravel equivalent natin will be 2.03 feet. Okay, this GE, okay, I stand corrected. Itong GE na to is just for the asphalt concrete. Itong GE natin ngayon is the design for our base thickness. Okay? So, yun nga, no? Ang sabi sa atin sa problem, we have an untreated granular base material. Okay daw? Yung base daw natin is untreated granular. Check natin ngayon kung meron siya sa table na given by the California Department of Transportation. Okay? May kita natin we have the untreated aggregate base. So plot lang natin, kunin natin yung G sub F. The G sub F will be 1.1. Now, to compute for the design or the actual base thickness, okay, we can just divide GE by GF, okay? So, gagamitin ko na yung in terms of meters. So, that will be 0.62 all over GF, which is 1.1. Therefore, we can now have our base thickness as 0.56 meters. Say, we can now design the base course as 0.5 meters. Okay? And that will be the three-step design method of the California design method. Okay? Now, let's proceed with some additional problems when it comes to flexible pavement. Okay? So, our next problem is more on design life and the number of lanes. So, kung kanina ang mga tinatanong sa atin is the traffic index, the gravel equivalents, the thickness of the base, the thickness of the asphalt. Now, kailan ba useful yung ating flexible pavement at ilang lanes ang kakayanin kapag magdudugtong pa tayo. Okay? So now, for our example number 3, so this design is the flexible pavement design life and number of lanes. Now, the initial design of northbound direction on a highway consists of a two-lane, take note nyo two-lane flexible pavement. Okay? Pag sinabing two-lane lang siya. Okay? Pandalawahan lang. So, meron lang tayo pa northbound and pa southbound. It has an SN. Alam natin SN, which is the structural number. SN of 5 and is designed for a subgrade CBR or the California bearing ratio of 6. Okay? So, ito again, ang CBR or the California base ratio or the California bearing ratio will be discussed to you on your soil mechanics, but given na siya dito sa ating highway engineering. An overall standard deviation of 0.35, a reliability of 90%. The initial PSI is 4.6 and the final PSI is 2.5. The pavement is designed for 3,000 passes per day of a truck. Take note napakadami yan. 3,000 passes per day. So therefore, kailangan masustain ng ating two-lane flexible pavement yung 3,000 passes per day. Okay? Ngayon, i-compute natin hanggang kailan ba tatagal yung ating pavement. Okay? Yung 3,000 passes per day na yon, it is already categorized to us. We have 12,000 pound single axle and two 32,000 pound tandem axles or dual axles. Okay? So per day daw, may dumadaan doon na 12,000 or 12 kips na single axle and twice as much na 32 kips tandem axles. If the pavement is conservatively designed, okay, ito yung pinakamaganda, no? Conservatively designed daw yun. Ibig sabihin, may malaking factor of safety na pinrovide doon sa, uh, may pinrovide na malaking factor of safety yung designer mismo. How many years longer will the pavement last if a third lane is added? That's the question. How many years longer will the pavement last if a third lane is added? Okay? Hindi sa atin tinatanong kung ilang taon tatagal ang pavement sa 3,000 passes per day of truck na 2 lane lang siya. Ang tanong sa atin, gaano daw tatagal ang pavement natin kapag nagdagdag pa tayo ng third lane? Okay? Okay. So, ang gagamitin natin dito is the Ashton design method. So, we know what is M sub R. Okay, recall natin what is M sub R. What is M sub R? So, M sub R is the resilient modulus given to us by the AASHTO or the 1993 AASHTO. Okay? Ang CBR natin na binigay dito sa problem is 6. Ito, CBR natin is equal to 6. So therefore, kung CBR natin is equal to 6, it will fall down dito sa ating condition. The condition wherein the fine-grained soils with soak CBR of 10 or less. So therefore, we are going to use this formula for our resilient modulus, which is 220 multiplied by the CBR. Okay? So since given naman si CBR, no? Or ito palang CBR na to, ito palang resilient modulus na to, kapag kinompute natin yung 220 times CBR, ang makukuha natin is in terms of kilonewton per square meters. Okay? Pero ang given kasi sa atin is in English units, no? So in terms of pounds. So we can have another formula, okay, converted formula for our resilient modulus. And that will be 1,500 times CBR. And this 1,500 times CBR will be equal to the resilient modulus, which will have a unit of pounds per square inch or in terms of PSI. Okay? So let's use this one since in terms of pounds yung mga binigay. No? Sige, gamitin natin ito. So given na yung CBR which is 6, plug in na lang natin. That will be 1,500 multiplied by 6. Our resilient modulus will be equal to 9,000 PSI. Okay? So now, change in PSI. Again, what is PSI? Okay. Okay. So now we can have now the change in PSI. So that will be just initial PSI minus the final PSI or the TSI. Okay, so this will be our structural index. So we can have 4.6, which is our initial PSI, minus 2.5, which is our final PSI. Therefore, our structural index is 2.1. Wherein, sorry, 2.1. Now, ang sabi sa atin, based from the problem, our reliability is 90%. Yan daw yung reliability factor natin, 90%. Okay? So what will be our standard normal deviation, which is Z sub R? Again, kailangan natin yung Z sub R na to, no? So reliability of 90% will have a Z sub R or the standard normal deviation of negative 1.282. Okay? Okay? Next step, dito na papasok yung mahaba natin na formula. Okay? The logarithm of W80, which is our load. At yung pinaka-concern tayo yung load mismo. Okay? So, the rest, yung ZR natin, ito na, o Z sub R. Yung SO, given naman yung overall standard deviation, which is 0.35. Yung structural number, given na din. And the theta PSI given, na-compute na natin. And yung resilient modulus na-compute na rin natin. Okay? We can all now plug in sa ating formula yung mga values. Okay? So, if we plug in our Z sub R or the standard normal deviation, and that will be negative 1.282, that will be multiplied by the overall standard deviation, which is 0.35, plus 9.36 times the logarithm of the structural number, which is 5 plus 1, minus 0.20, plus the logarithm of our theta PSI, which is 2.1 all over 2.7, all over 0.40 plus quantity 1094 all over the structural number plus 1 raised to 5.19 plus 2.32 times the logarithm of the resilient modulus. Okay, resilient modulus natin is 9,000 minus 8.07. Calculating, we can have the logarithm of W18 as 7.52039. We are up to sa W18, so just multiply it by both sides by the natural logarithm. We can have our W18 as 33,142,861.35. Okay? So now, itong W18, gagamitin natin ito for our design lane loads. Okay? So this is an additional discussion, okay, for our flexible pavement. Kailangan natin ng design lane loads to get the design life and the number of lanes ng ating current constructed pavement design, pavement structure. Okay? So what is the formula or what is the formula for our design lane loads? The design lane loads is equal to the W18 of the design lane is equal to the PDL times the W18 directional. Okay? So what is our PDL? PDL is the proportional design lane. Okay? Given na rin sa atin to, itong table na to. No? Kapag daw ang number of directional lanes natin ay isa, our PDL will be equal to 1. If the number of lanes is 2, our PDL will range from 0.8 to 1. If 3 lanes, 0.6 to 0.8. If 4 lanes, 0.5 to 0.75. Okay? So, but we can use for these problems, no, ang gagamitin natin is uh, somewhat the maximum, no? So, 3 lanes tayo, ang gagamitin ko mamaya is 0.8, no? No, initially, sabi sa problem, the initial design of the northbound direction is two-lane. Two-lane flexible pavement. So therefore, kung two lanes yan, i-plot natin, ang PDL natin is equal to 1.0. So whereas, kapag nagdagdag naman daw tayo ng third lane, magiging 3 lane siya, ang PDL natin is 0.8. So bakit natin kailangan ng dalawang PDL? Okay? Kailangan po natin dalawang PDL to compute the design life of the 2 lanes and the design life of the 3 lanes. Okay? Okay. Sabi sa problem, we have a structural number of 5. Okay? And also, in SN of 5, meron din daw tayo dito 12,000 pound single axle na truck or 12 kip single axle. Magkaiba yung 12 kip natin sa 32 kips. Isang single axle, isang tandem axle. So we need first to convert each axles into an equivalent axle or the SL, no? I-convert muna natin siya into an 18 kip. Yun yung yun yung design natin, 'di ba? According to the AASHTO design method, yun yung pinaka ceiling natin. Ito yung benchmark natin, the 18 kip axle. 18 kip single axle. So therefore, we need to convert each axles into an 18 kip single axle load. Okay? So, mabuti lang binigyan tayo ng AASHTO design method, AASHTO ng table for our SL. Sabi, ang SN daw natin is 5. So, dito tayo sa column 5. And our single axle truck is 12,000 pounds or 12 kips, no? So, therefore, ang ating SL for a 12 kip single axle is 0.189. Next, SNI 5. Pero ngayon, we have a 32,000 pound tandem axles or the dual axles. So therefore, ang titingin naman tayo dito sa column 5 or the column ng SN5 and 32 kips. Therefore, ang ating SL for a 32 kip tandem axle is 0.857. Okay, this is just more on using the tables. All right. Now, since this has been now converted into an equivalent 18 kip single axle load, we can now add or we can now compute for the total SL of these two trucks, no? So the total axle, the total SL is equal to the SL of the 12 kip single axle plus 2. Bakit tayo nagkaroon ngayon dito ng 2? Okay? Ang sabi sa problem, meron daw tayong 32,000 pound. Okay, kung wala yan, di walang 2. Okay? So therefore, maglalagay tayo ng multiplier na 2. 2 times the SL of the 32 kip tandem axle. So now, our total SL is equal to 0.189 plus 2 times the 0.857, and that will be 1.903 18 kip SL per truck. Okay? This will be our total SL. May total SL na tayo, we can now compute for our daily W18 or the daily loads daw natin dito. That will be 1.903. Okay, 1.903. Ano kasi yan eh? Ito parang magiging multiplier natin. 1.903 multiplied by ilang trucks daw ang nagpapas doon sa ating pavement. That will be 3,000 trucks per day. And that will be 5,709 18 kip ESAL per day. Okay, take note yung mga units natin. Okay, kung mag-unit analysis kayo, makakancel yung trucks. Ang may iwan ay 18 kip ESAL, then yung day. Okay, that will be 5,709 18 kip ESAL per day. So now let's compute for the years of the 2 lanes. Gaano ba tatagal yung ating 2 lanes? So for the years of our 2 lanes, this will be equal to the design W18 all over the PDL of the 2 lanes times 365 days per year multiplied by 18 kip ESAL per day. Ito yon. Lahat yan meron na tayo. May W18 tayo. May PDL, may 18 kip SL per day. Plug in na lang natin sa formula. And that will be 33,142,861.35 all over. PDL ng 2 lanes natin is 1.0 times 365 days per year times the SL per day, which is 5,709. And yung 2 lanes doon natin, as per design, will last an approximately 15.905 years. Okay? For our 3 lanes, kapag meron naman tayong 3 lanes with the same condition, ito naman yung magiging formula natin. Okay? Ang pinalitan lang natin dito is the PDL. Yeah, the PDL only. Okay? So substituting the values, we can have our 3 lanes will last an approximately 19.881 years. Okay? So is this the final answer? The answer is no. Ang question kasi sa atin is, nanggaling daw tayo sa initial design na 2 lanes. Okay? Galing tayo sa 2 lanes. Kung 2 lanes lang siya, edi sana ito na lang yung naging sagot natin, the 15.905. Or kung 3 lanes siya, initially, 19.881. Pero hindi. The problem stated that the initial design is 2 lanes. And then, magdadagdag daw tayo ng 3rd lane. Hanggang kailan daw magtatagal yung ating pavement. Okay? To answer the question based from our problem, we can just simply subtract the years of the 3 lanes and the years of the 2 lanes. Take note that the years in 2 lanes and the years of 3 lanes has the same condition. Same sila ng W18 design, same sila ng 18 kip SL per day. Okay? Same condition sila, nagbago lang sila sa PDL, the proportional design, the directional lane. Okay? So we can simply subtract yung dalawang nakuha natin na years, no? So that will be years of 3 lanes minus the years of 2 lanes is equal to 19.881 minus 15.905, and that will be 3.976 years. Based from the problem, maglalast daw yung ating um, uh, pavement kapag nagdagdag tayo ng third lane ng 3.976 years longer. Okay? So that's how we compute for the design life of our flexible pavement. Okay? And that is all for our pavement design. So next topic will be exciting. This will be traffic analysis and uh, traffic maintenance. Thank you so much and have a great day.